What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy A56 5G. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the Samsung Galaxy A56 5G. Now this device, as the name implies, is the successor to last year's Galaxy A55. And that was an excellent smartphone, and from the looks of it, the A56 is really more of an evolution from that device, just building upon the strengths of that phone. So that's certainly a good thing, and I'm especially excited about the A56. Now before we get too far into things here with the device, let's see what all comes included in the box. And by the way, this phone is pink. My camera doesn't really pick that up very well. It kind of looks like it's white, but it is pink, so just know that. But we'll open up the box and see what all is in here. We have a packet right here. So we do have a SIM card removal tool. We have a quick start guide, and then we do have a double-sided USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. Now with this device, we're getting a very large 6.7-inch display. In addition to that, this display is Super AMOLED, so it has excellent colors, also really good viewing angles as well, and we are getting a really fast refresh rate here at 120 Hz. So in many ways, just looking at the front display panel of the phone, this looks and feels like a flagship smartphone, despite it actually being pretty affordable at an MSRP of just $499. But the display is 1080p, we're getting a PPI of 385, we're getting a 19.5:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and then we are getting an 87.7% screen to body ratio. So pretty small bezels all throughout. The bottom bezel maybe is slightly thicker than the other bezels, but certainly nothing noticeable and nothing bad, that's for sure. Then up top here, we do have a hole punch to the front facing camera, and that front camera is 12 megapixels. Now internally here with the Galaxy A56 5G, we're getting 128 gigabytes of storage, and unfortunately, there is no micro SD card expansion. So you are stuck with that amount of space that we're getting here, but I think for most people, 128 is quite a bit. And keep in mind too that there are other configurations available of this device where you do get more storage. And unfortunately, there is no wireless charging with this device, which is a bit disappointing. We're starting to see more and more mid-range phones have wireless charging, including phones like the Motorola Moto G Stylish 2025, which I just covered here on the channel. That phone is actually $399, so $100 cheaper than this, but we are actually getting wireless charging. So I really wish Samsung gave us that. Now with this device, we are getting an in-display fingerprint sensor, and it is really fast and responsive. Let's try that one more time. And you can see it's really quick. And then we are also getting Face Unlock here with the phone. Now on the back of the device, we're getting a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera that can capture images at up to 123 degrees, and then finally we're getting a 5 megapixel macro camera for close-up images. So I'll head over to the camera app right now and we can take a look. So this is the main camera right now. Now you can go up here and switch it over to the full 50 megapixels if you want to, and basically you'll be getting photos that are definitely a lot higher quality, but at the same time take up a lot more space on your phone. So just remember that. We can also go over to 0.5 for the ultra wide camera. So as you can see, we can fit a lot more into a single frame here. Then over in the more tab, we can go to macro and access the macro camera. So as you can see, it really brings out the detail for those close-up images. We can also go over to portrait mode and get those nice blurred out backgrounds. There's also a 1x and 2x option for portrait mode. And then flipping around to the front facing camera, we can of course take selfies here with the device. And there's also an option for group selfies, which crops out a little bit. Now internally here with the phone, we're getting 8 gigabytes of RAM and the Samsung Exynos 1580 processor. Now so far, things have been good here with the phone. It's been very quick to set up, that's been no problem. And I noticed as well that during the setup process, the phone wasn't getting hot or overheating or anything like that. So in general, I think Samsung made a good choice going with that chip. Now I did also run a benchmark test, and I'll show you the scores right now. And I got a single core score of 1355 and a multi-core score of 3860. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone, then compare your scores to these scores to see how the Galaxy A56 compares to the phone that you have right now. Because you certainly wouldn't want to switch to this device if it's actually slower than your current phone. Now with this device, we're also getting 4K video recording with both the front and rear cameras, which is great. And then we're also getting a 5000 milliamp hour internal battery along with 45 watt fast charging. Now with that charging speed, you can get the phone from 0 to 65% in just 30 minutes, which is actually pretty impressive. Now as far as software goes, the phone is running Android 15 and it does have One UI 7 out of the box. Definitely a big fan of One UI 7 on all my various Samsung devices that have that. I'm still waiting on quite a few to get that update to One UI 7, but it really does make a big difference. It's a very nice, kind of polished version of One UI, and certainly a much needed makeover of that skin. And then also with this device, we are getting NFC for tap and pay. We're getting IP67 dust and water resistance, which means the phone can go underwater for up to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. And then we're also getting stereo audio as well, which means if you're listening to music or watching a video, you'll be getting audio out of both the speaker here and the earpiece as well. So that does give you a more immersive audio listening experience. Now on the right side of the phone, we have volume up, volume down, and the power button. On the left side of the phone, we have nothing. And by the way, I really like this metal along the sides of the phone. It feels really high end. It looks really cool too. And you can see it's kind of like a brushed look here, but it has a brushed texture to it as well. So definitely a nice touch there, and typically something that you don't find with a mid-range smartphone. Now up top here, we do have the noise canceling microphones. Then on the bottom of the phone, we have the slot for the SIM card. We have the microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and then the speaker. And then on the back of the phone, we don't have much. We have the Samsung logo, which you can kind of see. We have the camera module, and then the flash. But in general, I'm super excited about the Samsung Galaxy A56 5G. This phone seems like a solid upgrade compared to the A55, and I'm definitely really excited to actually do a comparison between those two phones here on the channel. So certainly stay tuned for that. Certainly with this device, there are still quite a few compromises that would actually make you want to get a flagship. For example, not having the wireless charging is a bit disappointing, and that is actually a feature that I find myself using quite a bit. I suppose that doesn't really matter to you a whole lot, then it's not a problem. But beyond that, and maybe the fact that there is no telephoto camera, we're really not losing out on much here with the A56 5G. But thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. This is Kevin here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.